Welcome to another episode of Habibi. Go to Gaza, come back, and let's talk. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about no one else but Roger Waters and his recent interview with Piers Morgan. You know what, without further ado, let's just jump in and watch together a piece of that interview.
All the filthy, disgusting lies that the Israelis told after October the 7th.
Like what?
About burning babies and women being raped, which were all complete...
Actually, women were raped.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
Well, there's no evidence.
It's been established by the United Nations.
You can say anything that you want, but there's no evidence.
Actually, there is extensive evidence.
There is no evidence.
Sexual assault and rape. Well, there is.
OK, well, all right, now...
Also, we know what Hamas broadcast on social media.
Calm down. Roger, calm down.
Is he talking to himself?
To his level. All right, I won't.
What level?
Well, stop shouting. Stop
Look
shouting.
at Piers looking at the camera even. He's like, what is going on with this
Sorry,
guy?
Piers, what were you saying?
Is this real? Is he talking to himself? Oof. Well, you know what do you expect from a... This is such a typical pro-Palestinian argument. Nothing about logic, nothing about facts, all about lies. And let's be honest, what do you expect from someone who spent his lifetime as a rock star doing drugs? I mean, his brain is clearly mushed. Either he's a clown or he's a lunatic. And it's really hard to... You know what? It looks like he is. It looks like he might be crazy. This is your champion, guys. He's literally talking to himself. There was another part of the interview, and I want us to listen to it.
When I take my stand for human rights, I'm not mucking around.
No, you're not.
I don't care what they throw at me.
Obviously, don't care about facts.
They are very powerful.
Who are you talking about?
All Palestinians should have exactly the same human legal rights as all Israeli Jews.
They actually do, and they would have. They would stop trying to kill all the Jews.
Oh, I believe there should be a two-state solution.
That's not going to...
If by saying that they don't have the same human rights is talking about the fact that they're just not allowed to kill Jews and rape Jews and kill their babies, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that someone took your human rights from you, Palestinians.
Oh, I believe there should be a two-state
Let's continue.
It's not going to happen. But
Nor is your plan.
There's no evidence.
Actually, there is extensive evidence.
There is no
Sexual
evidence.
assault and rape. But you seem to have done extremely little reading about anything that happened to Israelis over there.
Are you deaf?
The Star of David is the emblem of a Jewish person.
You're on your own. How to say this in a way you'll understand. No! You're so clever. Do you know what? I wasn't that clever.
Gee, you say. You weren't that clever. Oh, we didn't realize that on our own when we saw you talking to yourself. Piers Morgan here nailed it. He said, you seem to have done a very little study. Now, someone with such a strong opinion, with such a huge crowd, who knows nothing about what he's talking about in the Middle East. You know what I have to say to celebrity like Rogers, who have clearly no idea what they're talking about when it comes to the Middle East? Habibi, how about go to Gaza, come back, let's talk. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. And I mean, what can you expect from a celebrity, from a rock star who spent a lifetime on stage smoking drugs until his brain got mushed? The guy is clearly suffering from some kind of a mental disorder. He just went worldwide on camera talking to himself. Should have seen the look on Piers Morgan's face. He was literally looking at the camera for a second. It's like, oh, is this for real? Is this your champion, pro-Palestinians, Roger? That guy clearly have no clue about what's going on in the Middle East. And you know what? I so happen to have a little bit of clue of what's happening in the Middle East. Because I grew up as an Arab in the Middle East. I was born and raised in an Arab village. I lived in Gaza. I lived in the West Bank in Ramallah. I lived in a Jewish city. I lived in a Christian city. I spent a lifetime in university and outside of university studying the history of Islam, Judaism, Christianity. I walked the whole land of Israel, the whole land of Jordan. I think I have a little bit more clue than that numbskull about what's going on in Gaza. So let me try to answer some of his questions. He is complaining that he would like the Palestinians to have equal rights as the Israelis. Well, you know what? Which rights don't they have? The right to go and murder the Jews? which they've been trying since the beginning in the establishment of that country. The right to go and kidnap their women and children and rape them. Then I'm sorry, you know what? If that is what you're complaining, they don't have the right for that. I am all for preventing from people murdering other people, from racist, from lunatic, radical Muslims. Find a better solution? I'm all ear. Because you know what? There is a reason why there's a wall between Israel and Palestine. It wasn't always there. That wall, when I was a kid, didn't exist. We used to go to Gaza. We used to go to villages in Palestine and eat. We used to stay there in hotels and spend time in the beach and just live alongside each other. Until Yasser Arafat and his goons started with intifadas, started with from the river to the sea, started trying to kill, murder, butcher, annihilate the Jews. They started to try to commit a genocide against the Jews, and then every action led to a reaction. There used to be no checkpoints, but then we had to check who's coming because they brought suicide bombing vests and they came and exploded in buses and schools and kindergartens. So the Jews, the Israelis, had to come and say, stop it, we can't allow you to kill our people. We're going to have a checkpoint and we're going to check what are you bringing with you in these bags, because obviously you've brought many times bombs. And then they started sending women, pretending to be pregnant, and they will come and blow themselves, Allahu Akbar, killing as many people as they can, Jews, Christian, Arabs, atheists. So Israel started checking women, and then they started bringing children. They will put a bomb in a kid's school bag, kindergarten bag, and send him into Israel, into a checkpoint, and then remotely detonate him and kill. So Israel started checking babies. So every action had a reaction. So where we're standing today, where you come and say that they don't have an equal rights, it's because there's a reason for that. It's because from the beginning of the state of Israel, the Arabs, the Muslims, and Israel have been going around meeting with Nazis and plotting how to kill and annihilate all the Jews. A good example for not is me, my family, my people, the Druze, for example. The Druze are Arabs. The Druze lived in Israel when the Jews came back to their land, just like the Muslims. The only difference is that the Druze did not try to kill the Jews. They actually said, let's live together. You respect me, I respect you. Let's share this land together. Both said, wow, that's a great idea. Let's do that. And they agreed. And until today, the Druze are an Arab group in Israel who enjoy all rights, all obligations, just like any other citizens in Israel. We go to universities, we go to the government, we go to the army, we have doctors, police officers. In Israel, you have Arabs in the Supreme Court, you have Arabs in the government. So what rights are you talking about? Okay, you'll come and say, but the Palestinians have different rights. Yes, they're not citizens of that country. They literally tried to kill and destroy that country. Obviously, they're not going to have equal rights. That's like brainless, but that seems to be very hard for many of these radical pro-Palestinians and all kind of weirdo celebrities like this guy to get in their thick head. And just like he said, obviously he's not very smart. So take someone who's not very smart, who did a lot of drugs, who did not study properly the history of this conflict, and just fill him with so much emotions and victimhood. This is what you get. He ends up talking to himself, and he ends up talking nonsense about a conflict that he have no idea about. So to people like Mr. Rogers, not the good old Mr. Rogers that we like, this lunatic, I would say, stick to what you're good at. Go back to music, go back to your guitar, play some music, do some more drugs, and just fade into the horizon. And don't embarrass yourself in front of the whole world, siding with radical murderers, denying rapes that actually happen. Let's bring that to the table. How disgusting can you be to deny women who got raped, butchered, and murdered by sick religious misogynists, and to side with the rapist rather than side with the victims? That's who you are. Because that's undeniably clear that this happened. There's so many proofs that this happened. Not investigations done by Israelis, actually, by other organizations that came, New York Times, the UN, and others who came and investigated the horrors that happened on October 7 and came clear without any denying, stating that there were brutal use of sex crimes against Israeli women, innocent civilians. They raped them, they cut their sexual organs, they shot them in their sexual organs and burned them alive. And then comes this numbskull. And what does he choose to do? To side with the murderers, with the suicidal death cult radicals like Hamas and their goons and their supporters. So I think I've spent enough time talking about this idiot. Roger Waters, how about you go back to your music and leave us alone? Nobody cares what you have to say, and until you will have something smart to bring to the table, stop embarrassing yourself. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say about this anti-Semitic idiots. Well, thank you guys for sticking around. It means a lot to me that you stay until the end, that you enjoy my content. If you don't mind, click the like, subscribe, share, the whole shebang. Leave a comment, and see you next time. Oh, and don't forget, don't do anything stupid. In general, don't do anything that I would do. And I would even add, don't do anything that Rogers would do. Definitely don't be like Walter Rogers. He's a very bad example of how a human being should conduct himself, especially a celebrity with such a big channel and such a big outreach, spreading lies and siding with the rapist rather than with the victims. Shame on you, Rogers.